This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
What would your reaction be if the government cut your salary by $110,000? Do you think that that would send a message of support for transparency and the service that your office provides?
I'm going to hope that that never happens. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I would fight, and I would fight greatly if that were to ever happen. I don't see that that will, because I was just in the budget of 2023, but that would have a very serious impact, not only on our work, but on the morale of the team, which to me is absolutely important. I've got the most dedicated employees, and that would be really tough. So
Right.
I hope that never happens.
Yeah, I think that proposing a cut to a commissioner's salary signals future cuts to the budget and not an eye on the important work that our independent officers of Parliament do. So, and I thank your staff and the staff here on behalf of the Office of the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner's Office as well. Commissioner, how many investigations have you referred to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police?
In the past year, one.
Okay.
Currently, they have 5 suspended files. They have 5 files currently in their hands that I have referred.
And what's the oldest of those 5 files?
Of those 5 files, there's one that dates back to 2019. They have returned to me some files that I had referred in the year 2018.
Are you able to tell the committee what is the subject of those referrals?
I can't, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. To the folks from the Ethics Commissioner's Office, Ms. Tremblay, Ms. Rushworth, thank you for being here. Is your office at this time able to fully administer the Conflict of Interest Act?
Thank you very much for that question. There's 2 parts to my response to that. There's absolutely certain things that we cannot do at this time. Those are things like post-employment waivers for public office holders, administrative monetary penalties, and moving forward with investigations. On the other hand, what the office absolutely can do is continue to provide dedicated one-on-one advice to all of the regulatees who must remain in compliance with the Act and the Code, even in the absence of a commissioner.
Yeah, and that's those ongoing services that are being provided are, of course, essential. Members right now are going through their annual disclosure process, and so I know that I appreciate and rely on the help of the office. So you said you're not able to initiate an investigation. Are you able to initiate an investigation of your own volition? Or are you not able to do it either by request by a member or on your own undertaking?
The authority to initiate an investigation rests with the Commissioner.
Are you able to issue a report setting out facts in question as well as your analysis and conclusions in relation to requests for investigation?
That is not something we would be able to do because the analysis conclusions would rest with the Commissioner.
Are you able to refer investigations or any findings of the office to the Speaker of the House of Commons at this time?
I'm not aware of the obligations in that respect, but I cannot imagine that we'd be able to do that without the Commissioner, but that would be a conversation we would have with the Speaker if the need arose.
Are you able to summon witnesses, requiring them to give evidence orally in writing on oath, or if they're persons entitled to affirm in civil matters on affirmation and to produce any necessary documents or other materials that you consider necessary?
Those types of requests would be something that would be within an investigation process, and that would be at the direction of the Commissioner.
Okay. So though there are a range of services that you're able to provide to members, and based on my experience, you're doing so ably and as well as ever. There are several functions of the office that are not able to be executed at this time due to the ongoing vacancy in the Commissioner's position. Is that correct?
That is correct, but I will say that any matter that is brought to the attention of a Commissioner can be looked at. Any matter that is up to 10 years old can be looked at by the commissioner, and a commissioner has 5 years from the time with which that information became known to that person as the commissioner to act on it.
So there'll be potentially there would be work on the desk of an incoming commissioner. It doesn't stale date in the intervening period.
Correct. The same applies if there was something that would be a decision to take on administrative monetary penalty, post-employment waivers, the ability to reimburse blind trust fees, that type of thing. All of those things would be held for the future commissioner.
But for now, if I as a member referred an issue to you, or if the experts in your office observed something that likely was viewed as a violation of the Act, there would be no investigation initiated, and that essential transparency function for Canadians would not be provided at this time.
The ability to launch an investigation, a future commissioner has up to 5 years after the information is brought forward to them to be able to do that. And in the interim, the office is absolutely still paying attention to the roles and responsibilities of all regulatees to follow both the Act and the Code.
Take notes, keep receipts. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. I've worked with, as all MPs, with folks from your office, been very pleased and have appreciated the services that you provide. But have there been those files that have been placed on the desk of what will be the future commissioner and say, yep, that's something that needs to be looked into?
As a general rule, the office doesn't talk about investigations while they're underway or before they're launched. We do wait until there is a report published at the end of an investigation process. But I will say that the office absolutely continues to pay attention to the work that is being undertaken and media queries at different places that we look for information that could be of interest to a future commissioner. But the work absolutely it continues for us to make sure that people are remaining in compliance with the Act and the Code.
Thank you. And I appreciate that, but it certainly seems to be, there seems to be a wall that's been built from the ability of being able to actually see the important work that the commissioner's role is able to do. So it's I think it highlights the importance of ensuring for the fact that Canadians need to be able to trust their institutions. Ms. Belanger, appreciate you coming back, and I know you've been here a number of times. You referenced a little bit about the Foreign Agents Registry. If you're lobbying in Canada on behalf of a grocery store or a food bank or any number, and I know that folks can go online and search through the lobbyists registry, and there's interactions with public office holders and ministers and the whole deal. There's a ton of information there. It seems to me, and certainly I've heard from many of my constituents, that think that the idea of a foreign agents registry, where that if you're in Canada and working on behalf of a foreign state, and in particular, a hostile foreign state to Canada's interests, that seems to be a pretty common sense thing, that there would be a mechanism in place. Now, I know you were asked a couple questions about that before, but I'm just wondering if you could maybe expand on what your thoughts are in that regard. Yes,
absolutely. I'm a great believer in transparency. So if the registry helps any type of transparency with respect to anyone, foreign agents coming into Canada to do whatever they want to do. The registry currently, though, for lobbying, if someone is the scenario that you have just provided, they would be required to register on the registry of lobbyists if they're communicating on behalf of a foreign agency. So we do have on our registry currently some consultants who are representing foreign countries on our registry. So there will be an overlap. But as I was saying, I think the registry for foreign influence, it will have to the object, or what's the purpose, or what's the success of that registry will depend on how it's designed and what is it aimed to want to cover. Is it just communications with all of you? Is it communications with Canadians? And what are the requirements? And there will have to be no thresholds. The requirements will need to be very clear, because there will be a lot of organization, corporations, individuals who will go under the radar if there is a threshold. there should be as well enforcement mechanisms and strict sanctions.